friends, we had that fabulous session from Rahul, and now we're going to another one, which is very interesting one. Okay, and it is about platform strategy, co-create value in diverse ecosystem. On this very important subject, we have Vargav Bakshi is going to speak. He's a lead in international partnership team at Shopify and is their first employee in India. He mentors freelancers and agencies to grow their business and Shopify. He's guest lecturer at premier engineering and management colleges and is invited to speak at various forums. Today amongst us, we have Vargav Bakshi here. Vargav, may I please call upon to get the session started? We're looking forward to it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First off, brilliant session by Rahul. I think super, super impressive. Thank you so much. You lifted the energy in the room. This is amazing. I'll get started with something a little more boring, to be very honest. I'm going to talk about platform strategy. So all of you have heard of platforms, and you've heard co-creating value in a diverse ecosystem. Well, I mean, all of that is too technical, right? So let's get started with something very simple. Look at the names of these companies. Google, Alibaba, Uber, Facebook. These are companies that change the way the world works, right? These are revolutionary companies. Now, what's that one thing common across all of these companies? They're platform companies, all right? So today's presentation is going to be how do you create a platform company in today's world? What are the various kinds of platform companies? What are the different business models? How do you earn as a platform company? All right, so platform is called the holy grail of business models, right? In the modern world, platform is actually called the middleman. A middleman who basically brings the supply and demand at one place. But to be honest, a platform company is far more than a middleman. A platform company gets producers and consumers on one platform, and a platform company has to make sure that they're able to create value for all of the stakeholders over here. So they need to create value for the producers, they need to create value for the consumers, and they also need to extract enough value for themselves so that they're able to stay relevant. Now, let's dig a little deeper into this supply and demand side of things. Now, have a look at these different kinds of platforms here. Now, let's start with marketplaces because most of you have heard of this. You've heard of Amazon, Flipkart, Airbnb. Now, what's Amazon? So in Amazon, the marketplace model, you've got sellers all over the world. So you are somebody who's got a product, and now you want to sell it online. So you go to Amazon, you put your product there, and then Amazon advertises their company, gets customers onto their website, and that's how a seller finds a customer. Amazon is able to get customers to their profile and is matching the seller to a customer, and that's how they're creating value. Same as Flipkart, same as Airbnb. So how does Amazon earn here? Amazon takes a cut, a commission out of all the sales that a seller does. Similar again is e-commerce platforms like Shopify or Magento, who's one of our top competitors. So Shopify basically is targeted towards merchants or sellers. So if you are somebody who has a product to sell online, Shopify will give you all the products, the entire technology, the services, the entire ecosystem for you to go and sell online. Now, similarly, development platforms like Android or iOS. Now, the development platforms are really cool, and they're the modern age, really great platforms doing well. So how does that work? There's a layer of hardware. On top of that, there's a layer of software. And on top of that, developers, like Android developers. So you keep hearing, right? We need Android developers. We need iOS developers. So what are those guys exactly doing? They're coming up and actually building applications on top of that layer of hardware and software, right? And then there are these on-demand platforms. Everybody uses Uber, right? You order a taxi and it comes to you. How many of you have heard of Dunzo, by the way? Show of hands. Anybody has heard of Dunzo? OK, excellent. There are people, my people from Bangalore have heard of Dunzo. All right, so Dunzo is a company that came up a couple of years back. I hope it comes soon to Calcutta as well. So 3 years back, I could go to a WhatsApp group, and all I have to do is that, hey, Dunzo, I need a printout. Can you please come home and take my pen drive and get a printout? So this guy used to come. He'll take my pen drive, and he'll get a printout because I don't have a printer at home. He's going to get the printout, and he's going to come back to me. Now I have to scan and send that to my head office in Canada. So I'm going to make him wait. I'm going to sign that printout, and then I'm going to send him again. He's going to go scan it, and then he's going to come back again, right? So he was literally like my peon or like my assistant, whatever you want to call it, right? So that's how Dunzo started, where they decided that we're going to do everything. You know, we are your clerk, we are your peon, we're going to do everything for you. And then what they have now moved into is now because they've got like hundreds of thousands of people in Bangalore using their service, now they've got all these grocery chains and various logistics chains coming and saying that, hey, now you've got all the supply, let us do the demand. We're going to sell a bunch of things to these users. And then the revolutionary social platforms, right? So Facebook. So what happens on Facebook? Who generates the content? It's people like you and I, you and me, who are basically generating all the content. And what happens from the demand side of things? Then there are all these advertisers who are coming and targeting you. So we are basically generating the content, and Facebook has all the demographics, and then they basically start targeting you based on those demographics. That's how the social platforms work. Then you've got these crowdsourcing platforms like YouTube. Who knew that if you're a creative guy who knew how to speak and is able to generate enough content, you go out there, put your content, and then there are millions of people across the world who want to see that content. That's how crowdsourcing platforms work. You've got utility platforms like Quora, where you post a question, and there are hundreds of people across the globe who will come and answer your question. You've got services platforms. How many of you here are freelancers or agencies or smaller IT companies? Okay, so how many, do you use Freelancer or Upwork? Yeah, that's again a platform model, right? Because you're acquiring merchants from there. So what does Freelancer gain? Freelancer is basically taking a cut of all the jobs that are happening. So if there's a big demand of people who want to outsource their projects from US and from UK, Australia, all the developed economies, and we've got countries like India, which has got surplus number of web designers and engineers and developers who are able to do those jobs. So that, again, is a services platform. Now, when you're looking at a platform, there are generally two kinds of effects. There's a direct network effect, which is like Facebook. Why are you on Facebook? Because your friends are on Facebook. So as and when you've got more friends coming on Facebook, the more and more people join Facebook. And then they've got advertisers to target those more and more people joining in every day, right? That's a direct network effect. Now, what's an indirect network effect? Indirect network effect is, let's say, you've got a lot of drivers on Uber, and that is why you've got as many number of riders coming on Uber because, well, they get a cab in less than 30 seconds. So that's an indirect network effect. That's balancing the supply and the demand side. Now let's look at some effects of what if the supply side is higher than the demand side. So for example, on Uber, if you've got more drivers, so if you've got more drivers, it means that the surge pricing won't happen, right? Everybody hates that surge pricing, 2.1 times or 3 times sometimes. In Bangalore, it goes up to 4x sometimes. So everybody wants lower prices, so the more the supply is better. There's faster pickups. There's a wider geographical coverage. What about Airbnb? So you've got more hosts, so you've got more places to stay. So automatically, the customer who's actually traveling gets more choices to stay, right? Automatically, the prices come down. And similarly, to Uber, they've got a higher geographical coverage. Look at eBay again, which is a marketplace similar to Amazon. So you've got sellers who are basically given all the variety of products in the world to sell on eBay, and then the prices get lower and lower simply because the number of sellers have gone higher and higher. Who benefits? The customer, you. You have a bigger, versatile set of products to choose from now. Now, what if we look at the other side where the demand is higher than the supply? So in Uber, if you've got more and more passengers, there's less idle time for drivers. Just so you know, Uber doesn't pay for the idle time of drivers. They get paid only when they're driving. Similarly, Airbnb, there's higher utilization if there's higher demand. And eBay, of course, if you've got more customers coming and buying on eBay or Amazon, there's higher revenue. That definitely makes sense of economies of scale. So all that yarn about platform company, right? So everybody knows that, okay, platform companies are great. Now, how do you become a platform company? The first thing that you need to know is that you need to reach a critical mass. Now, that's a very important term out there, a critical mass. In simple words, a critical mass is when your popularity has just exploded. The technical definition would be when the value of the network is far higher than the cost of the users joining it. So basically, when your company is really popular and the network is already high value, you've reached critical mass. So how do you reach a critical mass? First, you accelerate early supply. That's the first thing that you need to do. Now think of it. So let's take the Uber example again. So when Uber started, now they had to get people to come and, the riders to come and then look for a certain cab. Now the faster they get their cab, the higher the chances of them coming back to Uber again. So what Uber did is they gave money to drivers to just stay idle. So in San Francisco, they said that, OK, we're going to have 1,000 drivers, and we're going to pay them for the entire day so that anybody who installs the Uber app actually gets a driver immediately when they come in. So that's accelerating early supply. And then accelerating early demand. Just like the Dunzo example that I just said, that, hey, these guys actually got all the people on a WhatsApp group and said that whatever you want, we're going to get it done for you. Or you tap into an existing network. You piggyback on another company. So let's say, for example, Shopify, the company I work for, has got about 600,000 plus merchants across 170 countries. Now, we've got this big app store, right, where people come. And so let's say there's a Zoho, there's an Intuit. There are like rewards and loyalty programs that come, and they want to sell their products on our app store. So immediately when they come to the app store, they've got 6 lakh merchants who want to use their products, right? So even if you're able to tap in like 5% or 10% of that audience, you've got a great, rock solid start to your business. So you're basically, tagging on to like an existing network of your target customers, which already exist. Attracting high value users. Think of Twitter as an example. So you've got all the politicians, all the superstars, the Bollywood, the Hollywood heroes. They're on Twitter. And because they're on Twitter, their fans are on Twitter, right? So immediately, an influencer, a high-value user, attracts this set of followers with him. Start as a single-sided platform. How many of you are on Instagram? OK, I think this number needs to improve, though. So you guys should get on Instagram. So Instagram started off actually as a photo editing tool. And that was what made sense to all the photographers, all the content generators, because they used to come and use Instagram as a photo editing tool, and then they would basically share that photos. So immediately, because there were so many people who wanted to create that kind of content using Instagram, they started attracting all the people who wanted to see those photos. So you start as a single-sided platform, and you generate demand there. Extend your existing assets. Is Uber Eats there in Calcutta, by the way? It's there in Calcutta. Excellent. So how did Uber Eats happen, right? So Uber already had an existing set of logistics with them, last mile with them, and automatically they decided that, hey, why not leverage that idle time and get them to basically deliver food? So you extend your existing assets to, to get into other different verticals, like food delivery. Start in a niche or micro market and then expand. Great example here. I live in this place in Bangalore called Koramangala. Now, Koramangala has about close to 1,000 startups, all right? Every time there's a new startup, there's a new restaurant, or there's any new product, be it a Dunzo, be it a Swiggy, everything starts in Koramangala. So if you're a startup and you're launching a product, there's no better place in India than to launch it at Koramangala, because people there are very open to testing out new stuff. So start in a niche market. So you target a Koramangala, and in Koramangala, if you're able to tap into that entire market and you're doing it successfully there, you automatically then start replicating the same success model in various other geographies. Whenever you're starting a company, don't think that, hey, I'm going to launch it in Pune, Calcutta, Hyderabad, Bangalore. No, that is not the right way. Always start small. Target a micro market, get successful there, and then you basically replicate that model into other cities. Fail fast. Fail in that micro market. Don't fail in like 4 different cities. Fail at one city, learn fast, improvise, get successful in that micro market, and then you replicate into other geographies. Finally, provide certainty through commitment. So today, if Android says that, hey, I'm gonna take down the Android platform and all the development that all these developers did, well, that's not gonna work. So you have to make sure that you promise all your people that, well, you're investing enough in the business. So Android says that, hey, we put $100 million in the next 3 years for all these developers to develop better applications, right? So you need to provide that certainty to the market so that the developers who are developing on your market get that confidence. So these are some 8 tactics that you need to use for a critical mass. Quick one. Building a successful platform is more about making the right trade-offs than it is about the best technology. Obviously, we all want to build great technology, right? But you also need to make the right trade-offs. So at Shopify, we say that, hey, 80% of the features that a commerce merchant needs, we are going to build. But 20% of the things we're probably not going to build, right? And we're going to leave that for the developers. They are going to make sure that they extend the platform. So it's about making those right trade-offs. You need to know what exact platform you're building so that you're able to make the right trade-offs. Quick one on business models. So these are the various kinds of business models that you see. Some are subscription-based. So you see Netflix or Tinder or Bumble. How many of you, does anybody know of Bumble? Priyanka Chopra, dating platform? Well, it's in India, guys. I mean, the youngsters out there, you should get on there. But that, again, works on a subscription model, right? So if you want to see like a better freemium version, is like the basic version. If you want some additional features, you basically pay a little more, and then you're on the paid version, and you get more features. So these are all subscription-based. You've also heard of the SaaS model, right? Software as a service, so where they pay monthly. So that, too, comes under subscription one. Or your advertising base, like Google, like Bing, like Facebook, where you've got all the supply happening on your social network, and then you've got all the advertisers coming and targeting those demographics. And what does Facebook or Google get? Well, they get money for ads, right? Similar again, e-commerce platforms like Amazon or Shopify, which sometimes charge commission, sometimes charge based on monthly subscription, or sometimes both. Then there's the pay-per-service model, like Uber, like Lyft. You want a cab, you take it, you pay for that, and then you move on to the next one. Quick example on the Shopify App Store that I was mentioning. So 80% of what's on Shopify is basically built by us. The rest 20%. So if you're somebody who's looking to sell a product online, you would need ways to manage your customers. So you need CRM softwares, you need accounting softwares, reporting, social media, marketing, sales, shipping. Now, it's not possible for one company to build so many things, right? So you need to make sure that you're integrating with the best products. We know Intuit is the best, so we make sure that Intuit is integrated with us. We know that, let's say, QuickBooks or MobiKwik or any of these bigger Amazon Marketplace is great, so we need to integrate with them. So that the merchant, the customer who is at the center, not only is using your software, but is also able to use and leverage other good softwares that are there in the market. Last one, the stages. So you need to prepare a plan and make sure you're doing your situation and gap analysis properly. You need to share knowledge with the team, get your leadership buy-in step by step. You need to make sure your strategic direction has a proof of concept. Never go full on with all your ammunition. Start small, fail fast, improvise, and then relaunch. Plan and then deliver. Your execution matters more than your idea. Finally, archive your results and share learnings. Well, that's me, Bhargav Bakshi from International Partnerships.
Thank you so much.
You can connect with me on LinkedIn or on bhargav@shopify.com. Thank you, everybody.
I'm sorry we do not have any time left for questions and answers, so you can talk to Bhargav offline.
Sure, you can take questions offline. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Bhargav, we have a token of thanks for you and a memento to be given to you.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you.